this is Marie Bennett at blackberriesandcream.net, and today I'm going to show you how I made this card. It's kind of a Thanksgiving card, but you could use it for almost any occasion in the fall. Just says, my world is brighter and more beautiful because of you. Hopefully this video won't take too long, but I do want to show you the steps in making this card. Alright, so the first thing I did was cut a piece of very vanilla cardstock at 5.5 by 8.5 and scored it down the middle at 4 1/4. And because I want this embossing to come right up to the very edge, I'm going to put my paper in the embossing folder without folding it. And I'm going to line this score line right here, line the score line up with this very edge right here, so that the embossing will go all the way to the edge of the score line. Right, and then I'm going to make my sandwich on the Big Shot platform this way, and this will exactly go through the Big Shot. So I'm going to go run this through, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have embossed the front of the card using this Petal Burst embossing folder that is currently available in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. Now, I guess I should just tell you what else I use, because I got to move this stuff out of the way. Alright, so I used the Vintage Leaves, this stamp right here, and this one. And then from the stamp set called Paisleys and Posies, I used the two greetings. And that was all the stamping I did. Alright, so to get the front of the card ready, I'm going to use 4 colors of ink. And the first ink I use is Cajun Craze. There are 2 dark inks, Cajun Craze and Rich Razzleberry. And I'm going to do the Cajun Craze first. So I get a sponge dauber and ink it up really good. And then I just start coloring with my Cajun Craze, which is one of the beautiful colors of fall, and just color in some of the leaves with Cajun Craze. Okay. And then the next color I'm going to do is Rich Razzleberry. So I'm working from the darks to the lighter colors. Okay, so Rich Razzleberry has its own dauber. And as you can see, I don't really have a system. I just want, I'm going to fold this because I don't want to color on the back of the card. Get my bone folder and give it a good press. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to give it a little bit more Rich Razzleberry here and there. Some of the areas, I like to have dark shades of these colors and lighter shades as well. Alright, so the next color I want to put on is Crushed Curry. Which is a dark, rich yellow. Okay, so just keep putting on ink. None of these, no two cards using this technique are going to come out the same. It just isn't possible. Alright, there's the crushed curry. And the last color I'm going to use is Old Olive. And I really want to just basically cover it all in Old Olive. Which gives kind of a basic greenish foundation to the whole front of the card, and fills in any of the leaves that you may have missed with the other colors. There. Now the front of the card is done. And it's just a beautiful splattering of fall colors. Now while this kind of is damp, so we're just going to give it some time to dry, and while that's going on, we're going to stamp the leaves and the greetings for this card. Okay, so inside the card says, "My world is brighter and more beautiful because of you." And it's a long greeting, and I've just been having trouble keeping that straight. So what I did was put a strip of washi tape on my grid paper. I'm going to line the top of the cardstock up with this dark line, and then this goes straight across. So hopefully I can use that to help me stamp where I need to stamp. And I'm going to be stamping the greeting in soft suede. And I know it's a little off camera, but that's where my grid paper is. Rock it back and forth a little bit. This photopolymer stamp, this particular one, is so long and thin that in order to get a complete coverage, you really do have to leave it on for a couple of seconds and rock it back and forth. Alright, I want to daub the edges of this inside layer also in soft suede. So I just use my sponge dauber and just daub it around, all the way around. Softens up the edges and makes the inside of the card feel more planned, because the outside of the card has so much color on it. Just give it a little flick. Alright, so the inside of the card is ready, and I'm also going to stamp the greeting in soft suede, and that is, it says, "Thankful, grateful, blessed." Same thing, leave it on there for a minute, rock it back and forth. And I'm going to cut this out using a framelit from the mini treat bag. And this framelit looks like this. And I like it because I can line these notches up on the greeting and then put it through my Big Shot, and it'll be cut out perfectly. I'll be right back. Okay, now that my greeting is cut, I'm also going to daub the edges of this. In the soft suede. You really could use whatever color you want to tie the greeting to the card, but I thought I like the brown for this, so that's what I'm using. Soft suede, there you go. Okay. Now I'm going to, while I'm working with this, I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back. Okay, there we go. This one is ready. Okay, the next step is to stamp a leaf, which I've already done. I stamped it in Cajun Craze on Very Vanilla cardstock. And then I stamped the smaller leaf on crushed curry cardstock using rich raspberry ink. And then I cut them out with a framelit from the leaflets set. Boy, I'm having trouble talking today. But anyway, hopefully you'll be able to figure out what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Cajun Craze. Now this leaf, if you look at the leaf that I put on the card, it's a rich leaf, and so are my fingers. They're very richly colored. But it started out like this, and I just really thought this was kind of a flat leaf lacking in dimension. But if you like this look, then once you get it stamped and cut out, you'd be done. But what I decided was that I liked it better if I used my Cajun Craze and my dauber and then I just went around the whole leaf, just daubing the edges, getting it fairly dark looking on the edges. And then the center of the leaf, I don't want it so dark. So once I finished this part, then I just went back and lightly daubed the rest of the leaf, just to take some of that stark, very vanilla cardstock look away. Alright, and I did the same thing with the leaf that was stamped in rich raspberry on crushed curry. I used the rich raspberry and daub all the way around the leaf and then gently daub the inside. Okay, so now I just want just a light. I really want the crushed curry yellow background to show through, but I just think it gives the leaf more dimension than when it was just stamped on the crushed curry. Alright, so that's what we needed, was 2 leaves. Then we need one more thing for the outside of this card, and that is a leaf that has been cut out using the Paisley's thinlits from the Petals and Paisley's suite. And I cut it out of copper foil paper. And this copper foil is cut at, I just cut a 1 1/4 inch strip. And this little leaflet just fits on there, so you have very little waste. So I'm going to put this through the Big Shot using the more intricate or delicate cutting platform that Stampin' Up! Sells for these more intricate dies. So when I get that cut, I'll be right back. Okay, so there I have, here I have a mess. I'm going to clean this up real quick. And to clean up my cutting board here where I've just use it as a tool to help me with the daubing, I just get a baby wipe. And this wipes right off. This ink does. So I'm going to be using my little foam pad and my little brush. And what you do is you take this intricate die, you put it on this foam pad, and then you just use this brush and roll it around until you basically loosen the item that you've cut. And it needs a little more work, not much. Okay, and then to help me finish getting that out, I'm going to use my paper piercing tool. So there we have it. A beautiful copper element to put on our card, and it needs a couple holes poked out. So I've got my leaves, I've got my little copper element, and I have my card, which is now dry. First thing I want to do is adhere the inside of the card. It's a miracle I didn't ruin the inside of the card, because I put those daubers right on it. And I'm going to use Tombow glue for the inside. And if you wanted to, since this is a very vanilla cardstock we're working with, you could stamp right to the inside of the card. I did it this way because I wanted to give the card a little more body. Because the very vanilla, while it's nice cardstock, it is a little bit lightweight. Alright, now I'm going to use a punch, and this punch punches just a tiny little hole, and I'm going to punch a tiny little hole about 1 inch from the top of this card, right on the very edge. So really it just made a little notch. And the purpose for the notch is I have a piece of twine that is about 18 inches long, and I'm going to thread the twine through this notch. You could notch both sides, but I decided to just notch one. And then I'm just going to tie a little, just cross it over one time, and I'll finish tying it when I get the leaves on. Okay, so I've got this twine coming across fairly straight, I think. And now I need a glue dot. And I'm just going to pull this glue dot off with my paper piercing tool. Pull this knot again so that it's fairly tight, and then secure that right there, just to the card. Oops. Like I said. Okay. Now I need another glue dot, and I'm going to put it on the back of this leaf, like right here toward the top. And I want the leaf sort of pointing off it a little bit this way. And then I put the stem of it right over the top of that glue dot I just put on the string. And then I need another glue dot. Actually, I'm going to use 2 on the back of this, so 1 on the side and 1 up toward the stem. And this is going to go right here like this. Alright, and now this little copper leaf that we cut I'm just going to put the twine through that hole and tie it to the card. And I'm making a bow. We're very close to being finished. Okay, so there's the There's the twine element. Now the last thing we're going to do is put the greeting on. So I just peel off the back of these dimensional pieces and stick that right here. Great. There. And that's the whole card. Well, this was kind of a long video, but it's a very, I don't know, it's just a warm card that I think anyone would enjoy getting. So I hope you'll give this card a try. Thanks for watching, and happy stamping. Bye.